guys, how are you today? I hope you're doing well. Today we are going to continue with class number 7 in upper intermediate level headway. Today's skills are going to be speaking, listening, and reading. We are going to focus on how to get the benefits of listening, the main ideas and the sub-main ideas, and also we are going to move to reading, and we are going to do different exercises related to reading. I hope you're following with the PDF, okay, which is so important. I insisted on that before, and I'll keep insisting on this. It's so important that you follow you follow and you prepare before you get the lesson or you start, in order to translate all the new words you want, or maybe to have an idea previously, which is something so beneficial, and it's a pro, which is like something positive. As I remember, last class was about Tony and Maureen, a couple who started a business. The business is related to copying and publishing books about touristic sites, which is like so unique at that time. Okay, till the moment they have been translating their books about these different places, like almost all the places around the world, into different languages, which is something so nice, and it's a very great business. They also talked about when and where and how they met, and what have they done since that moment, and what have they been doing since that moment. Also, we are going to continue with speaking, listening. In the speaking side, you are going to talk about something that you die to do before you die. Okay, so not literally, but the things that you want to do before you die. Actually, they made a poll to ask different people the same question, in order to make a survey or kind of statistics about what they like to do before they die. Actually, most people agreed on 15 or top activities, 15 top activities. Sorry. The activities were about things that are not usual, okay, but people agreed on doing them. So if you are or ask this question, okay, what your answer will be? Is it climbing a mountain, going to China? They're talking about also destinations you want to see, okay, my dream is to travel to the Alps. Okay, this is could be a dream of you also, to go to Switzerland, to go to Holland, to see the nature there, to different places. Waterfalls also, people dream to go to waterfalls and see the amazing nature. Other people are interested in modern places, going to Tokyo, maybe, because it's fast-paced city, let me say. And other people dream to go to ancient places like the pyramids in Egypt, let me say, or visiting different places in South America, let me say Peru and Chile or something like this. Why not? Okay, so I'm talking about your dream. So other people dream to go to Brazil, though it's so hot there, but they love it. Yeah, the weather today is the same thing, yeah, kind of. No, not like Brazil, okay? But it's kind of windy, dusty, and hot wind, so it's bothering a little bit. I feel exhausted because of the hot wind, and it's cloudy, and and the dust all together. Oh, they make a great mix to feel energetic. No, it's not energetic. Okay, you feel actually exhausted, but let's keep doing things. Let me say energetically, okay, or in a good way, in a positive way, in order to forget about the lockdown, the quarantine, the disease, the coronavirus, the you know, the feelings, the exhausting feelings we all have these days, the feelings that, you know, most of them are negative. I know, like I hear from different people about this, but let's keep doing things like the things that we need to do every day. Sometimes routine can help us, you know, feel alive a little bit. It's much better, way better than doing nothing, waiting till the quarantine is finished. Actually, doing the daily tasks can also help us, you know, survive, mentally survive. Okay, this bad time. But okay, back to the idea I was talking about, which was the poll and the top 15 activities that people want to do before they die. Actually, they talked about strange, weird things, extraordinary things people agreed to do. Let's go into them. Also, the reading. You know, the reading today is going to be like kind of long one. Okay. Also, the listening is long one. But what we care about is to get, let me say, to get the main details and the sub-main details. Okay. Why? Because the reading exercise here we have, I'm talking about this, you know, in advance, but it's okay. It's about, you know, one topic, one text, okay, and different questions about the same skill or the same topic. Why? Because somehow it's the same way about IELTS and TOEFL. When you have a, you know, a reading passage and you have questions about it, the questions are going to be, you know, different, okay, different skills. A question might be like false and right and not given. Another question might be like correct the wrong sentence or statement. Others like matching. Others like, you know, match the title to the right paragraph. Also meanings of words, vocabulary. So we have different ones. Today's topic on the reading passage is also like, you know, or has the same, you know, it has a variety of questions, and we'll do them one by one. The first question, are you ready to start? It's going to be the reading. No, it's going to be the speaking and listening, sorry, okay? So let's read the questions, okay? Before we read the questions, I want you to see these pictures, okay? Check the pictures and let's talk about them. Okay, here are the pictures. As you can see, the pictures here about different activities that, you know, might be included in the things that you want to do before you die. Check the pictures here, like we have whale watching. We have, you know, going to see the northern lights. We have Machu Picchu. It's in Peru, which is a lovely place. We have Paradise Island. We have white dwarf rafting, flying in a fighter plane, flying in a hot air balloon. Okay, it reminds me of today's weather, I don't know why. Climb Sydney Harbour Bridge, swim with dolphins. Seems amazing. Walk the Great Wall of China, go on safari, go skydiving, dive with sharks. This is like can be quite dangerous. We have like driving a Formula 1 car and go scuba diving in the Great Barrier Reef. Okay, so these are activities that, you know, among 20,000 people who were asked, you know, in a poll about what they want to do before they die, you know, these activities were, you know, the most popular ones. So I don't know, which one are you interested in? Which place? Actually, like, you know, I can have like many of them. I'm not interested in Formula 1. I don't know why. Not even, you know, let me say, yeah, fire plane. No, I'm not interested. But I'm not even the whitewater rafting because it needs a lot of, you know, physical and emotional and mental strength. Okay. Yeah, but Machu Picchu seems nice. Northern Lights are amazing. I always see like, you know, pictures and videos about them. Swimming with dolphins and could be quite amazing and interesting because, as you all know, dolphins are nice creatures and friendly creatures. Okay, safari, I don't know. Anyway, you know, it's up to you to choose whatever you want here, and you might be interested in something completely different. Okay, so as I said, these are the pictures I wanted to speak about. Here they are in question number 2. Okay, they are asking us look at the results of the poll on page 160. You can go to page 160. Does anything surprise you? Okay, I don't know if you might be surprised or not, but if you're interested in knowing, you know, the answers, you can or the results of the poll, you can go there. But as I said, you can go to page 160, of course. But I'm not talking about this. I'm talking like, you know, these are the top 15 activities. And there are other activities also. Question number 3, after, you know, the seeing the pictures, I don't know, is there any strange word to you? I don't think so. You know skydiving, right? Okay, the pictures might be clear to you. We are going to listen to 3 people describing the activities in exercise 1, okay? These people, okay, you know, which activity are they talking about? This is the first thing to discover. Or to find about, or okay, and then how did the experience affect their life or their, you know, personalities? I know that, you know, any of these experiences can be a life-changing experience because, you know, it's all about facing your fears, being adventurer, being, you know, brave, somehow heartless, you know. So heartless, like, you know, you need to be very, very strong and brave to do this. So again, as I said, it's not something easy to do these activities, and, you know, you need company, you need people to support, you need to know, you need different skills to do this. Okay, let's go to the listening now. I want you to listen to 3 people again describing the activities, okay? And then after listening, we are going to do exercise number 4, okay? We are going to choose which person says the sentence, okay? Like we have Alan, we have Bernie, we have Carol. So they're talking about activities. The listening might be quite long, guys, okay? The listening might some of them, you know, I have 2 of them. Their speech is quite long, but what you need to find out is the main detail, okay, and how the experience affected their personality and their life, okay? Are you ready to listen? Let's listen and then do exercise number 4. I'm going to pause after each speaker and do the answers, okay? So, you know, that might be helpful in order not to miss a lot of details and ideas while listening to a long track. Yes, guys, let's do the first listening. I will, as I said, I will stop after each person, okay? I will, and then explain and give the answer that are related to his speech. Ready? Let's listen.
Tape script 2.4. Alan.
So the first person is Alan.
They are one of the most eerie and strange experiences you can possibly have. The first time I saw them, they appeared as a kind of shimmering curtain over the top of a ridge of mountains, and they went from a greeny colour to a kind of purpley red colour, and they just stayed there. And the second time I saw them, it was the most amazing sight because they were right above our heads, and they covered the whole of the sky. The other interesting thing is that not everybody hears it, but they sometimes make a sound, a kind of buzzing noise. It was a real sense of wonder and awe. I just kind of sat there with my mouth hanging open, just feeling kind of small.
Wow, okay. So Alan is speaking about, of course, the Northern Lights, okay? Because which is number, as I said, yeah, okay. Yeah, it's number 3, okay? because he describes the sound that they heard. And what was it like? It was like buzzing, okay, like this sound, okay. And also Alan talked about number 5, that has done he has done the activity twice to discover the difference. The first time, like, it seems like nothing, and then like which time was the best? It was the second time, because in the second time the lights were just right above his head, okay, and they made a hole, like a hole in the sky, and they turned from, you know, greeny into, you know, purple, and, you know, it's amazing, by the way, it's amazing. He said a word that is eerie. Eerie means weird, okay, weird and mysterious. Also, he talked about, you know, he mentioned another word, which is like shimmery curtains, like, you know, shimmery curtains, like, you know, flickering, like gleaming, like with light, you know. These words are adjectives are related to light and colors, okay. So it was like kind of shiny. They are adjectives, okay. Yeah, let's go to the second person. So here we have 3 and 5 for Alan.
Bernie.
It was around midday. About 30 of us set off. The weather was fantastic. Not a cloud in the sky. We were all very excited. I don't think we really knew what to expect. There was a nervous kind of feeling amongst us. But then nothing happened at all for the first 20 minutes or so. We just sailed around, waiting for something to happen. Then all of a sudden the captain came across the loudspeaker and said, "I've spotted something." So everyone got real excited, and we ran to one side of the boat. And after a while, we spotted something in the water, quite far away, so we couldn't really see. And then suddenly, this huge, beautiful creature leapt out of the water, flipped around, and landed back in again with a splash. It was massive. I mean, really massive. I don't think anyone was expecting it to be so big. It was really close, and it did it again and again. And it was like once one had started, all the rest joined in. So eventually there were about 6 circling the boat. I think they were just curious about us. And they kept coming closer and closer. It was as if they were showing off, as if they were like putting on a show for us. We felt really emotional because they were such beautiful creatures. It was quite a privilege to see them. So, after about maybe half an hour, we had to go back to land, and everyone was left feeling really exhilarated. It was a joyful experience.
Okay, here's Bernie. He talked about, you know, number 1 is solved, as you can see. B says their activity was uneventful, and at first, because nothing happened, they waited and waited and waited, and as you can guess from this, it was, you know, whale watching, okay. So they were waiting for the whales to appear, and then, you know, eventually they appeared, and they leapt out of water and flipped here and there in order, like, to like, kind of, he said, like, kind of show off, like, you know, a person who show off feels like, you know, he's always saying, like, see me, okay, like, he's talking about himself all the time, and his abilities and his skills, and what he is amazing at, you know, different things, like he's a kind of show off person. So the whales were acting the same way, showing their skills and their movements, and, you know, above and under water, and, you know, things like that. So at first they seemed like nothing is going to happen. Then the whales appeared, and also Bernie talked about no one expected the whales to be so big. He said, like, they were massive. I mean, like, really massive, so huge and big, and, you know, so when they get closer, you feel how massive and big and huge they they are, okay? Because when we see them on TV or when we see them from, from a distance, it's not gonna, be the same as like we are so much closer to these nice creatures, okay? Because they are harmless, okay? Yeah, let's move to the third person, who is Carol. Let's check what she's going to say about her experience. For him, it was like, for Bernie, he said like it was an amazing, joyful experience. So, he felt really pleased, okay? Really, let me say, this kind of experience can make you optimistic and gives you nice feelings for a long time. So it was refreshing. Let's move to the third person.
Carol.
I went there with a Taiwanese friend of mine, and we were really excited about going. The day before, it had been absolutely boiling hot. So on the day we went, I was wearing only a summer dress and sandals. And actually, when we got there, after a 3-hour journey in a minibus, it was raining and really windy. So we were freezing. There were these people selling these kind of ponchos for rain, which we bought. And then we climbed up and started walking along. It was amazing, but the section we were on was quite ruined and quite difficult to walk up. And of course, I didn't have sensible shoes on, because of the rain, and it was quite slippery. We were on the ridge of a hill, and the wind was really gusting. And it was like catching my poncho, and I could feel it blowing me along. And I really, really hate heights. And we had this big drop right next to us. I was terrified. Of course, the view was spectacular. Stunning. You could see it kind of snaking up the hills. But I was just so frightened. I walked on a little bit, but then, I got so scared again. I just had to start heading back. And coming down, with the rain and the wind and the slippery stones and the bad shoes, it was terrifying. I came down some of the steps sitting on my bottom, bumping down one by one. I was paralysed with fear. And at one point I just stopped. And then this old woman who was selling postcards and stuff came up, grabbed my arm and kind of walked me down. I was so grateful. So the main thing I felt at the end was huge relief. I think I'd like to go there again, but in better weather and with, trainers or something a bit more sensible on.
Okay, Carol had a very difficult experience, walking up a mountain or a hill, and it was so hard because first she wasn't wearing sensible shoes. Sensible shoes means practical, because she was wearing a summer dress and sandals, okay, which is quite, let me say, difficult to walk, okay, wearing these very comfortable clothes, okay. So, and then the way and the road got slippery because of the wind, because of the rain and mud, and it was kind of bumpy, and she she slipped, and she was helped by an old lady. Anyway, she talked about a very strange and difficult experience. If you can see in the exercise, okay, Carol is number 2 and number 6, which are left. Okay, number 2 didn't finish the activity because of the rain and the bad weather conditions, and also because she got scared of the heights, and she was very frightened. And she said, if you remember, she said, I was paralyzed with fear. Paralyzed, the person who is paralyzed is unable to walk, okay. Maybe he can move only in a wheelchair, okay. So she was paralyzed of fear. This is like, to tell us like she was frightened, unable to move, and also because the wall was high, okay. So, and number 6, she said, like here, 6 had their activity spoiled by the weather, and how? Because it got the rain and the wind made it so difficult to move and to climb up or even to walk, okay. Yeah, though it's funny and hard and difficult, but you know, it can make a very good, nice, touching memories, okay, when you remember it later, okay, but at its time, you know, like, or when it happens, it's a little bit embarrassing and yeah, and kind of you feel like shame anyway. So, but embarrassing more than shame, but because she stepped, okay, and she was helped by an old lady, maybe she felt like this. That was everything about the listening. I don't want to give it more time than this, because it's, I think for you, it's quite clear now. What you have to do is to repeat the track many times, to repeat for more details, to repeat to get, you know, words and vocabulary that you don't know the meanings of. And it's quite beneficial, and it's going to give you a very good feedbacks if you go back to the tracks and listen and improve your listening. Fine, guys, now let's move to the second exercise. The second exercise is talking about spoken English. Guys, here in spoken English, we know that we have something called fillers. Not fillers, you know, the one that, you know, most girls know. It's not this kind of filler. Fillers is, in language, is like when I say like, you know, like, such as, is just to give yourself a second chance to see this, to know, to give you a second chance to think of what you want to say. These words can, you know, can help you improve and can help you make yourself a little bit fluent, to avoid gaps in your speech, okay? So kind of fillers we have, or they are used a lot. Actually, if you go back to the track, you will find some, okay? But these, like Alan, when he said like kind of, Bernie, when he said like kind of, I mean, it's like, I think, you know, these words. And Carol said like, you know, these words. And also when she said, you know, many times, and I mean, and stuff like that, and you know, all the humming words you do, and sounds are related to fillers, because, you know, just to give yourself a second chance to think or to remember what you want to say. Okay, so that's what I wanted to say about fillers. You can use them to make your speech more coherent, to make your speech more fluent, and to give yourself, and to fill, you know, it's, you know, fillers from fill, to fill gaps in your speech. Okay, now let's move to the reading passage, guys. Okay, the reading passage, which is like quite important. I'm gonna give it time. You have to be patient, because I'm gonna read it all for you. And actually, what I do is to generally give time for students to read, and then we ask questions, different questions, if we're a group in a class or something like this, to get the best of their comprehension, and, you know, to know what they understood. This is going to be quite difficult here, because I don't want to waste, you know, the time that is determined to give the class in a way that you take time and think. But let's do them exercise by exercise, okay? I will take the roles of a teacher and the student at the same time, in order to help you do this at home. So when you practice the same way I'm practicing, you know, you're going to find it a little bit beneficial and enriching. Okay, so let's go to the reading passage. Now let's read the title, Reading and Speaking, Our Plastic Planet. When you say the word plastic, what comes to your mind? Almost everything we touch or we have, almost, okay? So, you know, when you think of the word plastic, you can say toothbrushes, combs, bags, water bottles. Also, you can have the words like medicine, makeup, brushes, different brushes like hair brushes, toothbrushes, whatever. I talked about this. Cups, also, toys, okay, and rulers, kind of furniture, sometimes could be plastic, okay, chairs, also sunglasses, buttons. You know, you can think of different words, okay. Balls also, balls are made of rubber and you know, footballs, racquetballs, whatever balls, okay? So they are made of rubber and plastic sometimes also, but kind of rubber more. But if you think of the word plastic, okay, can I say like plastic makes our life easier or not? This is a debate, by the way, okay? It has its own positivities and negativities. Also, we have things that are, you know, part plastic, not complete, you know, materials or items like cell phones, computers, furniture, desks. Also, we have vacuum cleaners, washing machines, microwaves. You know, it's like you can continue, etc. Okay, so as I said, it's almost everything we touch and we have in our homes, okay, or our companies, or in our offices, in our rooms. So here we're gonna talk about someone. This person is a presenter, okay, TV presenter, and adventurer. He traveled to different places and he was shocked by the amount of plastic rubbish he found near beaches, okay? He's gonna talk about this experience. He's a kind of person who, you know, he adores nature, and he had many TV documentaries about this, okay? This article that you are going to talk about is like, he said here in number 1, they said like the infinite number of plastic products that fill our lives. I already talked about them. Okay, in number 2, here we have some of his speech. Okay, let's read what he said. Okay, here, like, I realized the sandy beach was being transformed into a plastic beach. Also, he said, twice the size of France, the garbage patch, is like a plastic soup in the sea. Okay, can you imagine that? They are being gobbled up by small fish, which in turn are eaten by larger fish, which in return are eaten by us. So eventually we are eating plastic. Also, we need to spurn and reject the main culprits. So here he's talking about how harmful plastic, what disadvantages we can have from using plastic everywhere, and not using plastic everywhere. It's about, you know, throwing plastic everywhere. Okay, so let's talk about this person. We are going to see here. This is Simon Reeve, okay, the presenter and the adventurer. He said, a planet. This is the title of the reading. From Hawaiian beaches to the coast of Britain, we're paying a lethal price. Lethal price is a fatal price, you know, a price that can cause death, okay, something like this. It means like something very important and very scary. For our throwaway society, says TV adventurer Simon Reeve. Okay, guys, I'm going to read. I need you to follow me, but here, before I read, if you can notice, I just, in number 2, I read some of his speech. In number 3, we are going to, they said, read through the article quickly, answer the questions. In number 4, we have to read the article again and answer the statements true, false, and correct the false ones. Okay, so this is what we want to do. If you can check the picture here, okay, I'm going to give you hints about the reading before we read, because it has a lot of new words, okay, and which is going to be so beneficial for you and so good, okay, to pick them out of this of the article and write them aside and translate them and, you know, try to memorize them. Anyway, here we're gonna talk about yeah, can you check this picture? See what in his hands are are pellets, yeah, plastic pellets, like, you know, he found them everywhere, you know, and if you can see far from, you know, from the other side, we have a lot of bottles everywhere, water bottles, oil bottles, you know, everywhere, a lot of containers, plastic containers. Okay, so here we're going to check what he says. Let me go to the second page, if you can see here. Okay, look, also we have bottles everywhere, plastic. Okay, we can see, like, also I want to move to this page. Yeah, okay, here we can say Eastern rubbish patch in the Pacific Ocean, Western rubbish patch also in the USA, and, you know, things like close to the USA. So, you know, this is like on the map. Also, you can see like animals about to die because of, you know, bags, plastic bags, and also ropes that are made of, you know, also somehow plastic. They're about to die. So let's go back to this, to as I said, to the beginning. Let's read about Simon Reeve. Hawaii is generally considered to be the one place in the world where you should be able to guarantee a finding paradise. Okay, I'm not gonna explain anything. I'm just going to read. I want you to pay attention to the highlighted words, okay, and then we can go back, okay? So, I'm gonna repeat from the beginning, and please focus on the reading, okay? Hawaii is generally considered to be the one place in the world where you should be able to guarantee finding paradise. The beautiful tropical islands have been used as the setting for countless TV series and films, ranging from Lost to Jurassic Park. Isolated in the middle of the vast Pacific Ocean, distance alone should protect Hawaii's spectacular landscapes and turquoise sea from the environmental problems facing the rest of the planet. So again, this is his introduction to the article, okay, about different places facing the problem of pollution, but plastic pollution, okay? So, yes, I have a problem here, okay, yeah. So when I arrived in Hawaii, I was staggered to discover beaches covered in plastic rubbish washed up from around the world. Pristine sand was covered by old plastic toothbrushes, combs, shoes, belts, and moldings. Sam Gone, a Hawaiian conservationist, took me to one beach where 70 local volunteers were doing their most to remove tons of garbage, but as soon as it was cleaned, the waves dumped another mountain of rubbish. The second part, the large pieces of waste can be collected by hand, but when Sam and I dropped to our knees, I could see the surface of the beach was covered with millions of small plastic pellets, known as noodles. These are the raw material that factories use to form the infinite number of plastic products that fill our lives. These are dumped out of factories into our seas in their trillions, the number. Yet the big shock came when Sam told me to dig into the sand. Plastic doesn't biodegrade. Instead, it breaks down into ever smaller pieces. Among the grains of sand were billions of tiny plastic flakes, which the pounding of the sea was reducing in size. As I dug through the plastic, I realized the sandy beach was being transformed into a plastic beach. A chill went down my spine. From the beaches of Hawaii to the seas around Britain, we are soiling our own nest. It was a shock to realize how much British beaches have changed since Okay, I have to move this, sorry, I forgot. Okay, from the beaches of Hawaii to the seas around Britain, we are soiling our own nest. It was a shock to realize how much British beaches have changed since I was a child playing on beautiful coastlines in Dorset and South Wales. Just like those in Hawaii, they are now covered in more litter than ever before. Now I'm gonna move to the second page. Since 1994, plastic litter has increased by an extraordinary 121%. The plastic we see on our beaches is just a fraction of the plastic waste that is clogging our oceans. Incredibly, all the plastic ever created, totaling hundreds of millions of tons, is still out there in the environment in some form. There are an estimated 600,000 plastic containers dumped overboard by ship every single day. In total, at least 100 million tons of plastic rubbish is thought to be sloshing around in our seas. The scale of the problem is extraordinary. The beaches I visited in Hawaii are being swamped by rubbish from the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, a vast accumulation of the world's plastic debris, floating in the Pacific Ocean. Sorry, I need water. Okay, ocean. Twice the size of France. Okay, the garbage patch is like a plastic soap in the sea and is doubling in size each decade. Let me move. Yeah, I feel thirsty because of this. Okay. And it's not alone. Scientists believe that sea currents have created 5 vast swirling garbage patches in our oceans, including a huge one in the northern Atlantic with up to 520,000 bits of rubbish per square mile. This is an international scandal and a global problem for which we are all responsible. Factories produced more plastic in the first decade of the 21st century than in the entire 20th century. From bicycle helmets to food packaging, from water bottles to toothbrushes, plastic makes our lives easier. But its production and use is completely out of control. Factories produced more plastic in the first decade of this 21st century, okay, than in the entire 20th century. Because tiny fragments of plastic in our oceans are so small and look like food, they are being gobbled up by small fish, which in turn are eaten by larger fish, which in turn are eaten by us. So plastic is ruining our beaches, choking the oceans, and poisoning our food chain. The consequences are still not fully understood, but they are likely to be devastating very soon. We need to spurn and reject the main culprits: plastic bags, packaging, and single-use water bottles, a wasteful obscenity. These make up the bulk of plastic garbage. By the way, I'm reading like this on purpose, okay? So I want you to focus. So I will repeat the last 2 lines, okay? We need to spurn and reject the main culprits: plastic bags, packaging, and single-use water bottles, a wasteful obscenity. And these make up the bulk of plastic garbage. Now, in Bangladesh, they have done away with plastic bags and replaced them with natural jute bags. If they can do it, so we can, or so can we. England has recently joined the growing number of countries which impose attacks on plastic bags, and the small town of Modbury in Devon has banned them completely. At stake is the future of beaches, our seas, and the food chain. It's nothing short of an environmental emergency. Okay, guys, I know it took time to read it, but it's very important. Okay, so let's go to the questions. I went back to the questions to question number 3. First, I don't want to say any meaning of the words that are highlighted. Okay, I know that you might face a lot of difficult words, but let's go to number 1. Who is Simon Reeve? As I said, already mentioned, he is a TV presenter and an adventurer, and he's responsible, or he makes a lot of documentaries and present them. Number 2, which products from your list in exercise 1 are mentioned? I think it depends on the list you already made. When I said, like, when I say the word plastic, what can you think of? So this is related to you and what you wrote. Which of your ideas about the lines in exercise 2 were correct? Which were not? Again, you might think of this alone. Which places in the world are mentioned? And what are noodles? Okay, places of the world that are mentioned, we have Bangladesh, we have Hawaii, we have Britain. Okay, and mostly they are talking about the coastlines of these places. Noodles are, as we said, like, they are pellets, okay, plastic pellets, and they are tiny, small, they can be found everywhere. If you can find, okay, look here. The beaches was covered with millions of small plastic pellets known as noodles. So here, what we talked about. In number 4, they are asking us, okay, about if these sentences and statements are true or false, and if, in case it's false, we have to correct it, okay? Hawaii is protected from rubbish because of its position in the Pacific Ocean. Okay, guys, what do you think? First, did they mention that? I know you need a second reading, so you might read again. They already asked us to read again. By the way, this question is not that difficult because if you are going to IELTS and TOEFL, they don't ask you to correct, but they ask you if the sentence is true, false, or not given, which is completely confusing when you have to choose between not given and false, okay? So, what do you think? False. Yeah, of course, they didn't mention it actually, and it's false because although Hawaii is isolated, it still has a big problem with plastic rubbish on its beaches, okay? So they already mentioned that the beaches are full of plastic rubbish. Number 2, they said volunteers clear the noodles from the beaches. Actually, false. Volunteers removed the large pieces of rubbish only, not every single piece of rubbish. So the noodles were so small to be collected or to be removed, okay? By hand, of course. In number 3, we have the sea makes the noodles smaller and smaller. It's completely true because he said, like, because of the biodegradation, it makes it smaller and smaller. But it breaks down into smaller pieces, but it's not vanishing, okay? So this is a quite bigger problem, especially when he digged through the sand, okay, and the rubbish. Anyway, number 4, he said, like, 600,000 tons of plastic rubbish is polluting our seas. It's true. Number 4, number 4 is true. No, sorry. It's false because tons is 600,000 tons is the amount of plastic dumped into the sea every day. It's not the one that is okay. Tons of plastic rubbish is it's not polluting, okay, our seas. It's, you know, the amount that is put into our seas. Number 5, factories are reducing the amount of plastics they produce. False, because in the first 10 years of the 21st century, more plastic was produced than in all of the 20th century. Okay? So here they are not reducing. Okay? Actually, it's getting increased. Number 6, there are 3 major ways that plastic is ruining our planet. It's true. Most of the plastic garbage is made up of plastic bags, bottles, and packaging. Also completely true. Then we have, you know, in Bangladesh and Mulberry, yeah, they have something in common. Completely true. Do you remember what was it? Or what it was? Okay, I can tell you. It was about banning plastic bags, or, you know, putting tax on you know, having plastic bags. Okay, and now it's becoming, I think they are depending on jute, which is like a kind of you know, fiber taken from a planet. The planet is, you know, grown in sorry, the plant, not planet. What am I thinking of? Okay, a plant. Okay, so the plant is grown in India, I think, and Pakistan. Yes, okay, so we call it jute. Try to check it up, but, you know, they are, you know, promoting the use of the bags that are made from this material. Okay. Yeah. What do you think? This is like, you know, in the second page, we have give your personal reaction to the text. What do you think of the text? Of course, you have to read it again many times in order to react and tell me what you think of this. Were you surprised? I think yes. Or you already heard about this, okay? But maybe the numbers could be surprising, could be not, because if you are interested in reading about the environment, you won't be surprised by, you know, these details. Here, like, they gave us some good, useful language to be used in order to express your opinion. Like, I didn't know that, you know, it's like this polluted. I already knew that. If you are familiar to the topic and to its content. Also, what surprised me was that, you know, let me say, plastic, let me say, is you know, is broken down into you know, smaller pieces, but it doesn't vanish, okay, or it doesn't biodegrade. So it's incredible that it's a shame that till now we cannot handle the problem of plastic, okay, plastic rubbish. I wonder what can be done to clear and clean and remove all the plastic rubbish we have, you know, among or along our coastlines. Yeah, do you believe plastic is causing an environmental emergency? Yes, for sure, because when I show you the pictures about the animals, it's like a very small detail, okay, about what's happening all around. Are there other things that are more harmful to the environment than plastic? This is a nice question. What do you think of? Actually, you can think of different questions, different answers here. Garbage, not only, you know, near beaches, everywhere. Waste, littering. I'm talking about environment only. Okay? Fires. That was, you know, as the one that happened in the Amazon a few months ago, destroyed the environment. Yeah, that was, you know, devastating. It caused a lot of harm to the environment, to people, to the food chain. You know food chain, right? You know chain? when two circles are like, you know, let me say like this. Okay, so it's a chain. Okay. Anyway, like we have a lot of problems, and you know, that can be related to let me say about hunting. Hunting is, you know, kind of harmful, but it's not, you know, it's not as big and, you know, as harmful as littering and pollution. Okay. Also, we have some kind of chemical substances that are thrown in our rivers and seas. Okay. We have something related to sanitation, and you can think of a lot of problems that are related to the nature, but I don't know how we can fix them all together, and not even one by one, because it's going to take us a lot of time, a lot of awareness, a lot of cooperation. You know, not only like between companies, factories, nations. It needs, you know, cooperation of nations to be handled. Okay, I'm talking about pollution in general, especially the ones that are related to chemical substances thrown in our seas and oceans. Okay, now vocabulary work. How many words meaning rubbish can you find in the article? How many words? Again, you need to go back to the, you know, to find how many words they mean rubbish. Garbage, waste, litter, depress. All of these words mean, you know, garbage. In number 2, discussing the meaning of the highlighted words. First, the first highlighted word was staggered. Okay, astonished, deeply shocked. Pristine, fresh and clean. Dumped, dropped, put down in a careless way. Okay. Soiling, making dirty or spoiling. You know, making the place dirty. Plugging, making something plugged, full. Okay. Prevent from something from being moved. Okay. Swamped, too full to be able to deal with it. Okay, it's a swamp. Also, we have swirling, moving quickly in circles. We have gobbled, means eating quickly or swallow quickly, to swallow food quickly. Impose means to enforce or to make somebody do something by force. Okay, so here, as I can see, these are the words that were highlighted. Okay. Yeah, in exercise 3, you have to match A to B. What are the contexts? Okay, so this is not very difficult. Okay, like turquoise is like sea that should be protected from environmental problems. Okay. Also in 2, we have infinite number of plastic products that fill our lives. Grains of sand that had billions of plastic flecks in them. Food chain that is being poisoned by plastic. Mountain of rubbish that is dumped on the beach by each wave. Okay. Number 6 is like sea currents that have created huge garbage patches in the oceans. Number 7, which is single-use water bottles that make up the bulk of plastic waste. Also, throwaway society that we are paying a little price for. Okay, throwaway society. Throwaway means like something could be disposable, which means like used for one time and then thrown away. Okay, or it could be like neglected. Could be you know, it's a very negative word. And here, because we are neglecting this society, and because we are you know, dealing with this society that we are the only, or with the environment that we are the only users, there are no coming generations. You know, we're talking about, you know, our children and you know, our grandchildren, and then like great grandchildren, something like this. So we are dealing with our society that we are the only, you know, consumers and users of this society and of all the sources that is on Earth. So because of that, we're going to pay a very painful price. If it's not us, it's going to be for our children for sure. So we have to be aware of this problem. Anyway, that was everything about this. You have to think how to of course, I cannot read it again. It's going to like take a lot of time. I'll ask you to read it again many times to check all the words, okay? And the information you want about it. Anyway, you can, if you want more details, please send me. If you want the answers of the questions, again, you can watch the video as many times as you want. So I don't think you need the answers written. But anyway, if you need it, or if you have any question about any vocab, you can ask me, or you can look it up in your dictionary. What I want you to do is try to summarize this article, okay, in a way that you understand it, and trying to give all the most of the details that are mentioned, starting with the beaches on Hawaiian beaches to British beaches, then moving like about the amount of garbage, then till the end when we talked about Bangladesh and what they did to prevent or to reduce the amount of plastic garbage they have in their society. So thank you very much. That was everything for today. Next class, as I mentioned, not mentioned yet, okay, we are going to continue, guys, but we're going to move to vocabulary, how to use, make, and do. Thank you very much for watching, and that's it. Goodbye. Enjoy your day.